Hi, and welcome to another episode of Reach Higher Thursdays. I'm Nikki Devitt, president of the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce. And today I am joined by Debbie Rosenberg, who is the vice president of human resources for McLaren, Northern Michigan. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get started with the simple question: where did you go to high school and what is your post-secondary education?
So I went to school in Durand, Michigan, which is outside of Flint. So I am a Michigander, and I went to school in Sault Ste. Marie for my college. And then I ended up going for my master's at Colorado Tech University.
Excellent. Now, as a vice president of human resources, what does a typical workday look like for you, especially in the medical field?
You know, in healthcare, it is varied. COVID has made a lot of changes to my day-to-day activities. But for my position right now, I spend a lot of time with analytics. I look at the data. I'm looking for ways in order to recruit people into our organization and into our region. I'm looking at staff relations issues when folks either misbehave or they are looking at tuition reimbursement or benefit questions. Those are things that I would do on a typical day, looking at all of those, and a lot of meetings.
A lot of meetings.
COVID
or not COVID.
Yes.
So what about skill sets? What do you feel is the most important skills that you have or that you've developed in the job that you do?
I think the number one skill is that ability to relate to people. You have to be kind to people. You have to be able to listen to what they are trying to convey to you. And so listening skills are really key, particularly in human resources, to understand where your employees are coming from, what your leadership needs. So that's probably the number one skill, is listening. But then it really comes down to being able to understand, being able to critical think things through, trying to problem solve. So when you get into leadership, you need to have some problem solving skills to be able to say, okay, what went wrong and how can we do it better? How can we relate to folks in different ways? And sometimes that requires data analytics. Sometimes it just requires observation. And so those are things that I incorporate every day in my job.
Fantastic. Okay, now the $1 million question. If you could give one single piece of advice to somebody listening, to a student that thinks maybe the things you talk about interest them and maybe this is a career they would like, what would it be?
I would say look for a mentor. There's lots of folks in the field that like to mentor young, upcoming individuals. I do a lot of mentorship across the country, bringing them in to learn the skills, volunteer, try to get into those positions to have an opportunity to practice those skills. Look for an internship. Identify those opportunities that you can go in and do something either on a volunteer or internship to learn those skills and see if it's the right job for you. Not all jobs are. So look for a mentor and look for opportunities to volunteer or intern.
That is fantastic advice. And as always, we like to put your contact information at the end of this little video interview. And when you put out the offer to look for a mentor, hopefully if somebody has a need, they can reach out.
We have lots of opportunities throughout our organization. So I hope they will look me up.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking time with us today. Debbie Rosenberg, Vice President of Human Resources for McLaren, Northern Michigan. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you.